Number 8. Cara Bell. On April the 7th of 2021, a Texas school board candidate was kicked out of a Nordstrom rack in Austin after refusing to wear a face mask inside the store. It was reported that the unruly woman, later named as Cara Bell, had been asked multiple times by the store's employees to put on a face covering in accordance with Nordstrom's policies and the mandates in effect at the time. Bell repeatedly ignored the workers' requests, reportedly indicating that she was exempted from wearing a face mask because of a medical condition. The woman allegedly pushed an employee to the side aggressively in order to gain access to one of the store's dressing rooms, and the police were subsequently called to the scene. Bell then began shouting hysterically at members of law enforcement on the sidewalk outside the store, as was captured by the responding officers' body cams. The woman alleged that she'd been the one assaulted by one of the Nordstrom employees and suggested that she'd been targeted because of her race. Bell continued to argue with the officers and refused to identify herself several times. At one point, she attempted to walk away, but was informed that she was being detained and wasn't allowed to leave the area. Shortly after the woman's incensed tirade had begun to abate, the officers placed her in handcuffs. Bell was reportedly issued an assault citation, which is a Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $500. In the aftermath of the incident, the video of her arrest went viral on social media, leading to Bell being labeled a Karen on steroids.
Carl here. I wanted to take a moment to show you one of the coolest trends that's going on right now. People are turning themselves into stickers, and I've done it too. You see, this is me as a sticker, and you can become a sticker too. But be warned, your friends and family may get a little jealous. As a Sticker is a brand new They Will Kill You approved service that can take your favorite pictures and turn them into stickers. Have a family photo from the recent holidays you want to immortalize? AsAsticker.com can do that for you. Want to prank your best friend and put them on blast? Take that picture of them falling asleep in class and stickerize it. Doing so is as easy as going to AsAsticker.com, then uploading your favorite photos. From there, they'll take care of the rest. After about a week, it'll magically appear in your mailbox. You don't even need to pay for shipping. Here's me wearing my favorite They Will Kill You shirt. And this is my dog, Choo Choo. They can take just about anything really and quickly turn it into an awesome die-cut sticker. You don't even need to do any of the work. As a Sticker will do all the editing for you. Then they'll materialize it on high-quality, durable print so that it lasts long and stands out. And we guarantee that everyone around you will love them. Immortalize the best moments of your life today by using the promo code TYKW20 to get 20% off your entire order. Or click on the link in the description below. And for a limited time only, get free shipping anywhere within the US or discounted shipping rates for those of you who live internationally.
Number 7. Laura K. Lewis. Texas woman Laura K. Lewis was taken into custody for harassing a group of teenagers at a skate park in Austin on August the 18th of 2020. As was captured on video by witnesses, the barefooted woman had initially approached the skaters and berated them for unknown reasons. At one point, she got close to one of the teens and aggressively shoved him. Another skater responded by dumping a jug of water on Lewis's head, causing the situation to escalate considerably. Lewis was shown attempting to take the water jug away from the teenager before kicking him with her bare feet repeatedly. A female bystander then stepped in and knocked the woman over a nearby ledge. Shortly thereafter, police officers arrived at the scene and, having witnessed part of the altercation themselves, took Lewis into custody. The social media dubbed Karen claimed that she'd actually been the one victimized by the teenagers, whom she alleged had stolen her purse. It was later reported that Lewis had been charged with assault by contact following her arrest. Number 6. Karen Purkle and Brenda Stewart. Two Georgia women were arrested before a Gwinnett County School Board meeting that took place on November the 18th of 2021. The detainees were later identified as Snellville resident Karen Purkle and Brenda Stewart, of Suwannee. The Gwinnett Daily Post reported that Purkle had been prohibited from entering Gwinnett County Public School property following a confrontation over face masks at a previous board meeting in October. The aptly named Karen attempted to attend the meeting on November the 18th in defiance of the police order issued against her and was consequently charged with criminal trespass. Stewart was reportedly stopped by officers at the school after she'd set off a metal detector during a security screening. Her bag was subsequently searched, at which point a pair of scissors was discovered inside. Upon being told she wasn't allowed to bring the scissors into the meeting, Stewart attempted to snatch them out of the officer's grasp and a brief struggle ensued. She was later taken into custody and charged with obstruction of a police officer. Number 5. Lori Desjardins. A member of the United States Navy was assaulted by a middle-aged woman at a pizza shop in Berlin, Connecticut on September the 11th of 2021. According to a police report, the incident occurred shortly before 10 p.m. when Lori Desjardins, aged 45, accused a man in military fatigues of stolen valor. She reportedly asserted that the man's military ID was fake, then proceeded to take out her own dependent military ID and insisted that it was what a valid, officially issued identification card should look like. During the course of her outburst, the brunt of which was caught on video and widely shared on social media later on, Desjardins called the man disgusting. As she grew progressively angrier, she grabbed the hat off his head and tossed it to the ground. In one final attempt to get the serviceman to leave the establishment, Desjardins rushed towards him and slapped him in the left side of his face. A few days later, the woman reportedly turned herself into the police, whereupon she was charged with third-degree assault and second-degree breach of peace. The man, whom Desjardins had accused of wearing a fake Navy uniform, was later identified as Sean Nolte Jr., a volunteer firefighter who was also serving as a submarine electronics fire control technician for the U.S. Navy in Groton at the time of the incident. Number 4. Rossi Dennis. On November the 24th of 2021, Texas resident Rossi Dennis brandished a firearm during an argument in the parking lot of an H-E-B supermarket in Corpus Christi. According to local police, the 60-year-old woman had confronted another female shopper over a parking space to which she'd felt entitled. During the course of the heated interaction, which was captured on the victim's cell phone, Dennis was shown shouting into the driver's side window of the woman's vehicle in the presence of her 6-month-old child. In an effort to intimidate the other shopper into relinquishing the space, Dennis ultimately resorted to pulling out a handgun and threatening to shoot her. When Corpus Christi police officers arrived a short time later, the armed woman had already left, but eyewitnesses confirmed that she'd pointed a weapon in the victim's direction. Investigators used the driver's recording of the incident to positively identify Dennis as the perpetrator. She was reportedly taken into custody 4 days later and booked into the city detention center on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Her bond was set at $60,000. Number 3. Kerry Nash. An Australian woman was nicknamed Bunnings Karen by internet users after she'd filmed herself admonishing staff members at a Bunnings warehouse store in the Melbourne suburb of Narwarren in July of 2020. As shown in the video, 42-year-old Kerry Nash accused the store's employees of violating her human rights after they'd politely requested that she put on a face mask. When Nash eventually left the store, she was met by members of local law enforcement who'd been notified of the situation. She resisted the officers' attempts to place her in handcuffs and was later released from custody after claiming that she had a medical exemption that precluded her from wearing a face covering. Nash later posted the video recording of her berating the Bunnings staff to social media, which led to her facing widespread criticism for her disorderly behavior. The woman, a former iSelect sales consultant, announced her intention of suing the police for how they treated her, although, as of the latest updates on the matter, it wasn't clear whether such legal action was ever taken. Number 2. Patricia Cornwall. In December of 2021, a woman on board a Delta Airlines flight from Tampa Bay to Atlanta was recorded attacking a fellow passenger for not wearing a face mask. The viral video showed 51-year-old Patricia Cornwall standing in the aisle of the plane and unloading an expletive-laden tirade at a seated male passenger. As many who viewed the video in the aftermath were quick to point out, Cornwall's outburst was rather ironic given that her own mask was pulled down under her nose and mouth. As her verbal abuse continued, the woman also reportedly struck the other passenger in the head and spat on him, prompting crew members to restrain and escort her to the other end of the cabin. The flight landed at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport at 6:10 p.m. The police were notified of the mid-air disturbance Cornwall had caused, and they subsequently detained the woman at the airport. She was then relocated to the domestic Atlanta police precinct, where she was taken into the custody of FBI agents. In the wake of the incident, it emerged that Cornwall, a former NFL cheerleader, had had other recent run-ins with the law. About a month prior to the episode, on the Delta flight, she'd reportedly crashed her car into a tree in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, while she was intoxicated. Cornwall was consequently charged with a DUI, and she ultimately faced federal assault charges as well, in connection to the incident on the plane. Number 1. Jillian Woostenberg. On July the 1st of 2020, Takalia Hill and her daughter, Michaela Green, were involved in an alarming altercation with a woman outside a Chipotle in Orion Township, Michigan. As 15-year-old Green would later tell the Detroit News, she was walking into the restaurant at about 6 p.m. when the woman identified as Jillian Woostenberg bumped into her seemingly on purpose. Green reacted to Woostenberg's carelessness by saying, "Excuse you?" and asking for an apology, to which the middle-aged woman took particular exception. She began berating the teen for purportedly invading her personal space. Hill came over to defend her daughter, and the shouting match then escalated in intensity. Woostenberg's husband began yelling at the mother and daughter as well, and Hill reportedly accused the couple of being racist. The Woostenbergs eventually returned to their vehicle and tensions began to die down. However, they almost ran over Hill while backing out of their parking space, prompting her to slap the car's rear to get them to stop. It was at that point that Woostenberg jumped out of the vehicle and brandished a firearm, pointing it directly at Hill and Green while ordering them to keep their distance. She then got back in the car and the couple left the scene. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office quickly tracked down the Woostenbergs and took them into custody on charges of felonious assault. The initial interaction between Green and Woostenberg wasn't recorded. The ensuing altercation, including the moment the gun was pulled, was caught on video. The footage promptly went viral in the incident's aftermath, with many viewers commenting that Woostenberg was a quintessential example of the Karen stereotype. Thanks for watching. Would you rather sit next to a Karen on every flight you take, or never be allowed to travel by plane again? Let us know in the comments section below.